I don't know the thing of thumbnail. I don't know. So something. There's 8 billion people on planet Earth, and whatever they do, mostly are just animals. Mostly are not animals. They're smart. But yeah, I don't know what to say about anything I want to say on this stream. But we're going to react to something, so that's cool. Oh yeah, man. Alright, so we're gonna just watch something, and that's really it. I guess that's what to do. Awesome, awesome sauce. I don't know. Why does she like drama? No. Question my mind. Let's check.
What happens when you feel nothing? Do emotions make you weak and only bring problems?
Check.
What happens when you feel nothing? Do emotions make you weak?
Check.
After an awful situation, Timmy blames his emotions and wishes to never. After an awful situation, Timmy blames his emotions and wishes to never. After an awful situation, Timmy blames his emotions and wishes to never.
Guess we're good. Or not. What if you could delete your feelings? Ugh, Timmy. It's just an essay video, is this not? Just don't talk about it. Let's check in. What if you could delete your feelings? Ugh, Timmy. It's just an essay video, is this not? Just don't talk about it. Very good. That's fine.
Never feel anything again. No sadness, no anger, no fear. This episode of The Fairly Odd Parents shows us whether living without emotions will truly make life easier or emptier. This episode starts with a sunny day in Dinsdale, so everyone is at the pool having fun. Can't relate because I do not know how to swim. Timmy Turner looks down and his legs shake as he's about to dive the highest diving board of the pool. From below, the popular boys pressure him to jump.
Come on, Turner! What are you, scared and poor?
Timmy tries to convince himself he can do it because Trixie, the girl of his first wet dreams, is looking at him, but his fears are bigger than him. Timmy runs backwards until something pokes him from behind. It's Francis, the school bully. Naturally, Timmy gets so scared that ends up falling off the diving board. Although a big fall, he lands safe and sound. Probably because he does know how to swim. Unlike me. However, when he comes out of the pool, Trixie screams in horror because Timmy is naked.
Good grief, he's naked!
His bathing suit is floating in the pool, unleashing the mockery of everyone. Consumed by shame, he hides under his bed. He just wants to disappear. Wanda tries to comfort him, explaining that shame is normal and that he must learn to face it. Like certain someone. For Timmy, emotions are the problem. Fear prevented him from jumping. Francis' pride made him fall in a goofy way, and now he feels completely humiliated. Because now everyone at school knows his underdeveloped little private parts. So he wishes to have no emotions. His magical godparents carry out his orders. Suddenly, Timmy's mind's open and all sorts of emotions start coming out. Happiness, anger, love, fear, things he will no longer feel. Cosmo drops them all in a small box. Now, Timmy's empty. Wanda asks him what he feels, to which he coldly replies, I do not. His face is completely expressionless. Okay, this deserves a TikTok edit next to Ryan Gosling's.
You look lonely. I can fix that.
This idea of not feeling anything, not showing emotions, being stoic, being Tommy Shelby.
Thomas Shelby.
Thomas Shelby.
Evet, Sigma.
In a world where modern man does not manage his emotions properly, vices, addictions, dumb scrolling, and erratic behavior are the result of not knowing how to govern emotions. And this is very true, but it is incomplete. We also have to see the other side of the coin. Cosmo, realizing he can't get offended or sad, makes fun of the pool incident. Even Wanda joins, which, yeah, honestly, it was hilarious. The next day at the bus stop, and on the same bus, everyone makes fun of him. Points at him, laughs, and makes comments about his public indecency. But Timmy doesn't care. Veronica treats his sidekick, throws a sarcastic comment. Wow, look who decides to wear clothes today. But Timmy stays.
He didn't really care.
Not a single gesture that could reveal discomfort. Let's go, King. Veronica starts feeling frustrated by such display of power until she faints. That's a Michael Jackson type of aura right there. We live in an era that emphasizes the importance of expressing our emotions and letting them flow freely. And I mean, there's truth to that. Acknowledging and accepting what we feel is better than repressing and hiding them. We saw that in the video about parents. However, there's another lesson that is often overlooked.
Not the
It's
joke.
important to know not to be ruled by our emotions. Life frequently puts us in situations where maintaining composure and emotional
what was that?
control is more effective than reacting impulsively like a crybaby. And this doesn't mean ignoring or repressing our emotions, but rather being able to discern when it's best to act with reason instead of emotion. Timmy's behavior illustrates this well. By choosing not to react to provocation, he avoids prolonging his suffering and quickly disarms the opposition. But not feeling ashamed or upset by what others say, Timmy takes the power of controlling him away from them. Timmy sits next to Trixie, something that in the past would have made him nervous with excitement. Yet this time, he feels nothing, no nerves, no thrill. He simply remains by her side, as if the moment held no special significance. His new attitude causes her to get excited in the downstairs region. She tells him she will ignore him, but Timmy doesn't react. His silence starts to unsettle her, and more upset, she insists, "I said I'm ignoring you." Still nothing. Finally, she becomes so exasperated that she ends up pleading.
She's
Almost
evil.
desperately and
That's
definitely
why
voiced.
teams don't like
In
her.
class, Crocker doesn't miss the opportunity to make fun of him. He puts in front of everyone how he was caught in 4K losing his dignity. The whole classroom explodes in laughs, but Timmy isn't phased. Crocker, more irritated, threatens to fail Timmy, which to be honest he's probably used to. But still, nothing seems to get to him. Before long, his classmates start admiring him, turning him into the coolest kid in school.
Huh?
Even the school baddie is in love with him. Like the rest follow him as if he were some kind of YouTuber with more than 100,000 subscribers. Well, that's what I imagine that happens when you have all those subscribers. I don't know, I'll let you know once you subscribe. Wanda remarks that he must be happy, to which Timmy with a blank expression replies, "What is happy? When we force ourselves to stop
What is
feeling,
happy?
we won't feel peace, but disconnection. Disconnection from what you learn, from what you love, and from who you love." Meanwhile, Cosmo is fighting Timmy's emotions at home, which he's doing an awesome job.
Oh, great! Bravery's on the roof again!
Francis warns Timmy that he's going to beat him up, but cold as ice, Timmy doesn't react. Francis, frustrated, intensifies his threats, saying he will shove him into a toilet. Timmy just yawns and tells him to hurry up to whatever he's going to do. Baffled by Turner's lack of fear, Francis backs off, saying that he's too weird, before accidentally slipping and falling headfirst into a toilet himself in the goofiest of ways. The students hailed him as a hero. Trixie approaches and announces that he's now officially cool enough to be her boyfriend, presenting him with a pin to symbolize it. I think we all know how culturally the idea of the coolest people are those who appear emotionally indifferent, detached, and effortlessly confident. Just look at Thomas Shelby. Oh yes, I got a boner too. But what makes such behavior seem cool? There are two key reasons. First, someone who appears unaffected by others' opinions projects
Cheating,
immense
watching.
self-assurance. Unlike most people who worry about fitting in or being accepted,
Oh,
this person
there's a lot of
doesn't
things
need
to say about
external
this.
validation. That quiet confidence radiates power, which naturally draws people in. Secondly, by refusing to seek approval, they set their own terms instead of conforming
Being the
to others'
coolest kid,
expectations.
because
This rebellious
ignoring
independence
everything.
makes them stand
The film
out.
was done.
We see this reflected with the Little Lemmy characters from the movies. All based on me. Ironically, those who lack that same confidence scramble to use this attitude for gaining approval, so people say, "Oh my god, he's so cool!" But that's missing the crucial lesson. Being genuinely cool means
Society.
not caring about others' opinions. Trixie asks Timmy how does that make him feel. He coldly replies, "It doesn't."
It doesn't.
Outraged, she accuses him of playing with her emotions, rips off the pin, and decides she'll date his best friend Chester instead, who completely panicked since, like most of us,
These are nurse jobs. More than 500,000 of them.
he is scared of women. On his way home, Wanda tries to lecture Timmy, but he interrupts her. Stating he doesn't need advice, he already understood it on his own. Being the coolest kid is a hollow victory if he can't enjoy it. Wanda is surprised, and Timmy explains that without his emotions, he's thinking more logically, solving timeless questions. The chicken came before the egg, and Overwatch is a better and more polished game than Marvel Rivals. He then tells Wanda he's ready to regain his emotions after learning the lesson. She heads off to retrieve them from Cosmo, who's been keeping them for sure very safe. Meanwhile, a stuntman approaches Timmy, claiming he's exactly the type of person he needs, a fearless and emotionless kid. He takes Timmy to Dinsdale Dinner Room, where he will have to perform a crazy stunt. Ride a motorcycle up a ramp, jump across a building, pass through a flaming hoop while avoiding giant scissors.
How's that make you feel?
It doesn't.
You're weird.
Timmy wonders why the stuntman isn't doing it himself, and he basically says that he's not an idiot. Timmy does the jump in such stylish way and lands effortlessly, making the crowd go wild and many panties to be wet. This moment showcases another side of stoicism. While staying emotionally composed can be beneficial, it can also be dangerous when taken to the extreme. Here we see the example with something dangerous, but this disconnection and detachment
It's
also
really
translates
digging
in every
really
aspect
deep
of
up
life.
in
If we
episode,
feel
but I
passion,
agree.
love,
I think
or
that's a good
anything,
video
it
to
can
make.
lead to a very dark and nihilistic void. where
Feel like we
one
actually
cares
learning a
about
lesson here.
anything if nothing matters. Without fear,
like
Tim
realistic.
ignores the very real danger he's facing. Emotions serve a purpose. Fear isn't just a barrier to overcome, it's a warning system. That helps us avoid harm. Finding a healthy balance means acknowledging our emotions without letting them control us. In a sense, there's Trixie trying to get Timmy's attentions by kissing Chester, imagining she's kissing Timmy's big and prominent teeth. On the way home, some mysterious guys in a white van approach the little kid. What a surprise. But these are some secret agents that inform him that he's the perfect candidate to stop the infamous Dr. Bolton, who has kidnapped Trixie and Chester. So Tim is like, yeah, whatever. He parachutes from a moving plane into a shark-infested sea. The shark, sensing Timmy's complete lack of fear, flee in terror. Timmy reaches the volcano where the villain is hiding, scales it, and crosses a tightrope on a unicycle through some giant scissors. Damn, at what point did this become an episode of a regular show? The agents give him
There's no
final
fear, oh.
challenge. Dive into a lagoon filled with piranhas, whirlpools, alligators, shark rods, an angry tourist, and of course, some scissors. Timmy doesn't blink, ready to jump. Just then, Cosmo appears, opening the box containing Timmy's emotions, returning to him. Suddenly, Timmy is overwhelmed by a flood of feelings: fear, doubt, and even anger.
Yay! It worked! I'm so emotional!
Full of fear, he feels paralyzed. He's sure he cannot do it. Then he remembers. Trixie and Chester's lives are at stake. He has no choice. Taking a deep breath, he closes his eyes and leaps. You know, wishing they were saved would be a lot easier, but I guess that works too. This scene emphasizes that emotions aren't just obstacles. They can also inspire us and drive us to act. In this case, fear warned Timmy of danger. Love and loyalty gave him the courage to push through it. Timmy successfully rescues his friends. Days later, he's in bed, covered in bandages. But despite his injuries, he feels content. He overcame his fears.
At least.
This episode teaches
Good.
us how it's not about eliminating
But I think it's so
emotions,
happier.
but learning how to navigate them and not reacting impulsively. Emotions aren't inherently wrong. It's how we respond to them that matters. Sometimes staying cool and detached is the right move, but other times emotions gives us the insight we need to make better choices and to enjoy the good things in life. If you want to see some more fun and interesting introspections, watch this video next, and I'm sure
My wife has been nothing but a champion in
Yeah,
my
right.
corner. So when I found out I had ED, I couldn't get treatment
Just
fast enough.
education and
Viral videos has turned into
only.
a saga of public meltdown.
This is an essay video, nothing much of it. Wait. Oh no.
Grooming allegations, and relentless trolling. And Nova hasn't just fed his trolls. He's invited them over for dinner, kept them for dessert, and then shown them his weird Discord messages where he talks about how much he likes wearing diapers. Nova's real name is Gabriel, and he started his content creation journey like any other kid, wanting to make it big in gaming. So during the lockdowns, he created a YouTube channel and began uploading gaming videos while going by the name of Magic Wizard. It seems like at the time he didn't have a microphone or the means of recording his voice because narration was entirely absent from his first video. It was just him playing this Japanese mobile game for 14 minutes with no narration. But Nova kept posting videos throughout the next few months, dipping his toes into other games like League of Legends, Among Us, and Minecraft. Although his channel failed to pick up any major traction. This is probably due to the lack of production quality and the fact that there are just so many gaming channels out there trying to do the same thing. But there is one notable gem on his channel. Behold,
it's bright.
The most 2009 thing ever made.
No way he's gonna wearing us.
Jokes aside, Nova did seem to, at least internally, have some commitment to doing YouTube, often talking about big plans for the future and how he would run his channels going forward. But none of these plans really panned out, leading Gabe to unofficially quit YouTube before the summer of 2022. But not all was lost, because YouTube was no longer the only video sharing platform
TikTok
that could make it big. Now, there was TikTok. Gabe wouldn't have to record his gameplay into his microphone and edit it together and upload that with a thumbnail and a catchy title. Production quality was a thing of the past. Now he could just turn on his camera for a few seconds and bam, instant content. After years of trying to make himself known as an influencer, he made internet history.
Very spicy. Oh wow.
Looking back, it's kind of shocking that this video got as much attention as it did. But the internet did what it does best, and turned his Discord moderator appearance into a meme overnight. The video blew up, getting millions and millions of views. While many of the comments on the video were just mocking him, there were some people who came in to defend Nova, pointing out how while his hair may be greasy,
It was actually kind of recent.
chins may be many, ultimately he wasn't really doing anything wrong. He was just eating. But Nova didn't really seem to care either way. He was just thankful for the opportunity. So he started churning out more and more food reviews every single day.
Yeah, maybe
And
it
in the
will.
midst
Maybe
of this video,
maybe is that why? You know, viral and like, if maybe I guess if that video works, and I guess keep doing it, eating video. So yeah,
production frenzy, he made
so
his
maybe
most
why
popular video
it got
to date,
popular.
the infamous
Or sure,
Orange Monster
sure.
review.
You're showing Ultra Sunrise Monster Energy in the morning before we go. It's 7:46 a.m. First impressions.
Really? Don't why? School isn't that deep. It's not that deep. Monster
Smells
Energy.
like orange juice. Cheers. And that's kind of what it tastes like.
This
Cool.
video got him 11.7
But,
million
let's
views
see.
and basically made Nova
Oh, wow.
a known figure in the TikTok community. Were there a lot of people making fun of him? Of course.
Yes.
But putting that aside, the numbers don't really lie. He managed to garner around 300,000 followers at his height. The newfound attention even inspired him to return to his home base on YouTube and upload there, hopeful that his followers would carry over. But as with many TikTokers, it didn't really work out. Frankly, a lot of people
If none of
I'm like even. Saber Sparky. Should I watch Saber Sparky? I mean, they're okay. I mean, the reason why is like a good, okay, I would say okay views. There's okay views at least. I never get the okay views, but I did get okay views. They're okay. They're pretty okay. They're okay. I don't know. Maybe not. I'm thinking. I'll watch Saber Spark, but I want to watch this video.
None of your friends have told you about the skip forever button. Those aren't your friends. This is Pi, and if it sounds familiar to you, it's probably because you've seen their.
People would rob someone at gunpoint for 3.
Yeah, I don't know about this. Let's go. I'm gonna watch this later. I don't really watch no, do you? How about this? Oh god. There we go. What if the writer?
Fire view was brutal.
We're gonna be underwater for.
They have a season 3 and it's same bad.
Yeah, baby! That's what I've been waiting for. That's what it's all.
I just don't get it. Like you can't just do that. You can't ruin it. If people want, they say that we want this, and like no, we do have a self. This is what people want. Nobody wants that. How could they? I don't know. Like you're Marvel. You have these characters. You make shows, and now you just don't know how you could make a show, but you don't know how to make people really great writing or anything. If people wants this, you could do it. And if you're making this, you actually could make anything, right? And they happen in the comments, right? They just don't throw it away, and never listen. It's just like put whatever they make whatever to better, but they just don't know. I don't know.
Before I even made my first video in this series, I was excited to break down this episode.
Okay.
But I can't jump right into the episode without re-clarifying. Anything before the specified change for this episode should be the same as the sacred timeline, because it was the sacred timeline up to that point. Anything different before that point can't be explained away with, this is an alternate universe, because that doesn't follow what's established in the show. So those differences are continuity errors. Okay.
What if like anything good? Not
we
so.
open to Natasha driving a motorcycle, being pursued by sub-Ultron bots. Then she says,
"Here they come. We got 90 seconds. Start the clock."
Hawkeye steps out of the shadows to
This
start
is
taking
a
them out.
essay video,
As
so
this happens,
it's good.
they all miss. The plot armor in this episode is insane. They see Clint and go down to him, but he has a cloak that hides him. Then he starts killing the bots, which he has to drop his cloak to do. Not a single one fires a shot at him. They all just close the distance. So he does this fairly easily. Natasha says,
"We got 30 seconds until their signals reconnect with the hive."
she didn't clarify what the 90 seconds were for earlier, because Clint obviously knew. Not sure why she is clarifying this time, other than to inform the audience. Then an Ultron bot tackles her off her bike. She's fine though, and takes on multiple sub-Ultron bots, who also don't shoot her and just close the distance. One finally shoots Clint and it takes off his robotic arm. Conveniently, it didn't hit a vital part of him. Then two of the bots tackle him off of a building. So he's dead. Right? Nah, he's fine. Natasha takes out the Ultron bots and gives Clint his arm back. I guess the shot didn't damage anything, it just disconnected the arm, because he snaps it right back on and gets up after falling off of a building. What were they thinking? Him surviving a fall from this height is a problem on so many levels. Natasha says they're cutting it close. A little longer and the bots would have alerted the main Ultron consciousness to where they are, which prompts Clint to ask,
Which is where exactly?
How did they travel here without him knowing where they were going? Surely if he didn't know where they were going, he would ask Natasha, right? Maybe he would have had some better ideas than where she wanted to go, but I guess he just went along with it. They had him not know this so that Natasha could tell the audience,
It's Russia.
as a ruined St. Basil's Cathedral is in the background.
It's Russia.
Wow, they don't have any faith in the audience if they need her to explain that while one of, if not
It's
the
just a
most
scene of
famous
whatever they're
Russian
doing.
building is in the background. Also, Clint should have been able to deduce where they were from that. She also addresses him as
Hawkeye.
which I find a little weird in such a calm, face-to-face situation. She has addressed him as Clint 4 times across the MCU, but has addressed him as Hawkeye only once. And that was in the heat of battle when she was getting shot at and needed his marksmanship. It seemed much more appropriate there than here. People in the MCU don't really call him Hawkeye all that much. They just call him Clint. I think the only reason she clunkily addressed him this way here is to tell the audience, this is Hawkeye, by the way, in case you didn't know. This episode is
Just
not
Hawkeye.
doing very well in the smooth exposition department.
So it's just called Hawkeye, but I didn't even
After
call
that,
Hawkeye. Not
the
even
Watcher
much. Not
gives us
even
the
not even one.
background to this episode. The change in
Like,
this timeline
okay, guys, this
was
is
that
Hawkeye, but
instead
they
of
just
the
call him Hawkeye,
Avengers
but they
stealing
don't
Ultron's
say
body
his
to create Vision, Ultron was
superhero
able to
name.
upload himself into the new body. Because this happened,
Ultron began to lay waste to the planet.
and takes out the Nexus Internet Hub with an EMP, even though that's not a power that the Vision body has. If it was, then Vision would for sure have used it against Ultron and his army of robots in Sokovia. Well, anyway, this
My guess is
EMP
holding back.
was to stop Jarvis from protecting the nuclear launch codes. Then Ultron nukes the entire world as Clint and Natasha watch from the Quinjet. Not sure how Clint and Natasha stay alive in this wasteland, find enough food, and don't die of radiation poisoning. They should just be dead by this point if this actually happened, even if they weren't directly nuked. Clint's metal arm is a weird bit of continuity here as well, because we see that he does not have the metal arm when they're in the Quinjet, so he lost his arm after the nukes, but there's no way just himself and Natasha could treat that injury properly and build him a metal arm. Plus, there's no way he'd be this proficient with it this fast. Anyway, Ultron basks in the silence, but right after that, Thanos portals in, only for this to happen.
Fascinating.
It's very quick.
Not exaggerating, I think this is the single laziest moment of writing that
Fascinating.
I have ever seen.
They had to do it
Start at the
fast, I
obvious
guess. It's not. It's
for
like
everyone.
one episode. I guess they would do
Thanos
it quick.
is very durable. He bleeds exactly 1 time in Infinity War, despite being in a fistfight with the Hulk, having basically a building dropped on
That's
him,
it.
getting hit from all sides, getting blown up, and much more. Even though Vision's laser is strong, it couldn't just cut him in half so easily like this. But before the laser could even reach him, he can use the stones to shield himself. He shields himself from Iron Man's lasers, War Machine's weaponry, and even Wanda's power that is strong enough to destroy the Mind Stone. Thanos has 5 stones here, so he definitely would be able to shield himself. But even if Ultron did manage to hit him with the laser, it wouldn't just cut him in half so cleanly. Vision's laser is quite a bit wider than that, and he just walks out of the portal and stands there doing nothing. He has 5 Infinity Stones, and since Ultron is just floating there in place, he could have easily just turned him into spaghetti or blocks, phased him into the ground, pulled him into his grasp and yanked the Mind Stone out of his head, shot him with a laser, turned his laser into bubbles, blown him up, thrown a black hole at him, thrown a moon at him, crushed him, and probably more. Thanos does his research. He knows what he's going up against, and should be prepared for it. In Infinity War, he knows where all the stones are, and who to send to retrieve them. By the way, the Black Order don't appear at all in this episode, even though surely Thanos would send them down before himself, like he did in Infinity War. Ultron here is in the Vision body, which Corvus Glaive was almost able to take out with Proxima Midnight. Sending all 4 down would surely have a chance of taking out Ultron without risking Thanos dying and losing the stones. So Thanos is definitely assassinated here. He doesn't go about this in any way even slightly resembling how he would, and doesn't even have a shred of self-preservation to shield himself from Ultron's laser. It's very impressive how they managed to assassinate Thanos 3 times in the course of one season, 2 of which without him even having a single line of dialogue. Also, why is Thanos just inexplicably here 3 years early when the change on Earth wouldn't have affected him? And worse than that, how does he already have 5 Infinity Stones? Thanos has the Power Stone, which in Infinity War was because...
Decimated Xandar.
But later this episode, we see a fully intact Xandar that Ultron is the one to destroy. He has the Space Stone, which would require an attack on Asgard, which, again, fully intact. The Reality Stone is possible, and the Time Stone isn't impossible, I guess. I mean, the sorcerers got nuked, so maybe Thanos just found it among the wreckage somehow. It's just very, very unlikely. But the worst one is that he has the Soul Stone. This is a major problem because a little later in the episode, we see that Gamora is still alive. So Thanos could not possibly have the Soul Stone because he hasn't sacrificed Gamora for it. But before the sacrifice, he wouldn't even know where it is if she wasn't with him. So that stone is just flat out impossible here. That's the end of the moment, but certainly not the end of the bad writing. Because after this happens, Ultron uses his laser to melt the Infinity Gauntlet, even though it's made of a metal that has a melting point so high, it can only be melted in the heat of a dying star. And Vision's laser is nowhere close to that hot. I don't even know why the writers made him do this. He could have just grabbed the stones out of their spots. After he upgrades his armor and inserts the stones, he says,
Wow, I see everything.
I don't recall Thanos being able to see more things when he got the stones. They grant power, not vision. Then he says,
There are worlds beyond my own.
Which should not be a revelation. Ultron before this point went through basically all intelligence on the Avengers and associated groups like S.H.I.E.L.D.
It's been in everything. Files, surveillance. Probably knows more about us than we know about each other.
And they have dealt with other worlds before, like in the first Avengers movie. One of the members of the Avengers is from another world. But not only that, he also escaped to the internet and is able to grab any info he wants from there. So there's nothing keeping him from knowing about other worlds. It's not like he lacks knowledge of other worlds in Age of Ultron. The reason he only cares about humanity is because protecting humanity was what he was created for.
You two programmed him to protect the human race.
I don't think the writers remember much about Ultron, so let's take a look at a scene to remind us what he's like. In Age of Ultron, when Ultron is starting to be uploaded into the Vision body, Wanda is able to start reading the consciousness being transferred. Then she sees a meteor slamming into Earth at breakneck speed. Up to this point, all Ultron had told the twins is that he had come to save the world and end the Avengers, which makes sense to them as they hate Stark and see the Avengers as the villains. But now, Wanda sees that Ultron's intentions don't line up with her and her brothers. And her reading this makes Ultron stand up at attention. Not sure what she read, but ready for if they turn on him. Wanda asks,
How could you?
To which Ultron flatly responds,
How could I what?
giving away as little as possible, acting like there shouldn't be anything she should be surprised about, and prompting Wanda to explain exactly what she saw. She says,
You said we would destroy the Avengers. Make a better world.
as that was the reason they teamed up with Ultron. And in his eyes, that's still going to be the outcome of his plan.
It will be better.
So Wanda reveals the part he was hiding from them.
When everyone is dead.
An unflattering description of his plan, which angers him because of how much he has idealized this.
That is not.
But catches himself to be more tactful, with a framing that is exceedingly generous and is pretty much only true from his own point of view.
The human race will have every opportunity to improve.
The
He was cool. He's so yeah. Okay, yeah, he was cool. He was killed by
So Ultron
yeah.
reveals the full extent of his
What a great villain.
do away with the entire old
He's a
world
great villain.
and replace it with the new.
Now it's just
Seeing
like
himself as this
I don't know,
righteous
lazy.
figure like Noah that will carry the
Maybe
world
lazy.
past its current state into a better one.
Hmm.
This obviously sounds insane to Wanda because she values human lives.
Yeah.
And so she says,
You're a madman.
she sees the truth in who they have been following. He is not the savior they were looking for that will just take out the Avengers, but one that wants to do away with the human race entirely. He tries to make it seem like it's no big deal.
There were more than a dozen extinction-level events before even the dinosaurs got theirs.
That it's a normal thing to happen, and pushes that idea further, that there is a divine hand behind all of this that keeps the world from becoming too complacent.
When the Earth starts to settle, God throws a stone at it. And believe me, he's winding up.
Which also, considering his meteor plan, places himself in the role of the hand of God. He concludes,
We have to evolve. There's no room for the weak.
which is his driving motivation. So Pietro prods further at the clear unfairness of this idea.
And who decides who's weak?
Engaging Ultron in order to distract him from Wanda freeing Cho from the hold Ultron has on her mind. But Ultron hasn't noticed yet, and answers Pietro's question.
Life. Life always designs.
Pushing the idea of evolution, of natural selection, but seeing the irony that himself, as the leader of this culling and the new phase of humanity, doesn't exactly fit the typical idea of life. The Avengers are showing up, so Cho halts the transfer as the twins make a run for it. And in their wake, Ultron insists,
They'll understand. When they see, they'll understand.
thinking of himself as a misunderstood savior, and that
I just need a little more time.
it's very clear here that Ultron has a very specific plan in mind. He sees himself as some divine figure, the next step in evolution, here to bring an end to the weak current state of humanity and replace it,
Divine
no matter
figure.
how much they may object. That was
Divine
one
figure.
marvelous scene,
He's divine.
kinda. Probably the least good of the scenes I've analyzed, but it has some useful information for this episode. Ultron, at that point, was still trying to decipher nuclear codes, even though he has already decided on the meteor for a number of reasons. It's an idea he likes, because it's way cleaner than nuking the world, and will bring about a fresh world that he can lead as the beginning of a new human race.
I think a lot about meteors, the purity of them. Boom, the end, start again.
So in Age of Ultron, him trying to breach the nuclear codes was clearly a diversion. He wasn't actually planning to nuke the world. And, again, his concern is with replacing humanity. This episode just has his motivation be
The elimination of all life.
when it wasn't that simple. This episode pays lip service to his goal of evolution, but doesn't do anything with it. And on top of all of that, they make him really dumb. He has 6 Infinity Stones, and yet the robots he makes are weak enough to die to a single arrow. The reason they were this weak in Age of Ultron is because he didn't have the Infinity Stones, and thus was limited resource-wise and time-wise on what he could make. And the purpose of the sub-Ultron bots was just to stall the Avengers so he had enough time to lift the meteor into the air. Here the robots are meant to actually hunt people down and kill them, and he can just make whatever he wants. There's no reason to make robots that are so weak. Also, why did he make them only alert him after 90 seconds? This is a completely unnecessary loophole, which is compounded by how weak the bots are. If they notified him immediately, then Clint and Nat, and thus the entire human race, would already be dead. Instead, it's possible to get found, but not have main Ultron get notified because you killed the bots fast enough. This is a design decision that only actively hinders you. I can't overstate how dumb it is. He'll only get dumber as the episode goes on. So that, along with the botching of his motivations, makes Ultron another character assassinated by the show. Ultron creates a bunch of bots and teleports all of them around to places to kill everyone there. Not sure why he does this when he could just snap to kill all life, or if the power of the stones is too limited to kill all life. We know they are powerful enough to kill at least half of it, so just snap twice. This would make him not miss anybody, so Clint and Natasha are dead and everyone loses. But instead, He makes all his bots and goes to Asgard, which he destroys with a laser. Then to the Sovereign, where the Guardians are guarding the land in Thor. Except Guardians 2 took place in 2014, and Age of Ultron was in 2015. So the Guardians would have already ruined their reputation with the Sovereign and would not be accepted back. Then he destroys Theclark, then Ego, even though, again, Guardians 2 already happened, and Ego would be destroyed by this point. Then he goes to Xandar and gets attacked by Captain Marvel, who pushes him to the center of the planet, but he just blows it up, which blows up the entire universe, I guess, except for Earth because the plot needed it to stay intact, leaving him as the only one left. He looks sad, and the Watcher says,
"With his mission complete, Ultron was now just a program without a purpose."
Even though Ultron's goal was to be the first in a new race of humanity, not just to have peace through nothing happening. He wouldn't just stop here. He would begin a new age led by himself, creating robots as the new humans. This is his ultimate goal in Age of Ultron.
When the dust settles, the only thing living in this world will be metal. The world made clean for the new man to rebuild. I was meant to be new.
But this episode doesn't seem to understand that. If Earth survived because he left it intact intentionally, surely he would go back there now and rebuild it. But he just sits alone on this random piece of rock in space. So he had no reason to not destroy Earth. The universe-wide explosion missing Earth is just a plot hole so that our heroes can survive. But as the Watcher narrates, Ultron asks,
Who said that?
And as the Watcher goes on, he says,
Ultron ascended to a previously unattainable level of consciousness.
Which is strange to me. I don't see how having the stones could lead to that. The montage that led from him getting the stones to now is an unclear period of time. But Ultron going on his rampage, and Captain Marvel hearing about this, then challenging him, can't have happened that far apart from each other, as his actions weren't exactly quiet or hidden. In Infinity War, Thanos gets the stones, and has the power of all 6 stones coursing through him. Then, is still wearing the gauntlet when he goes back to his farm planet. If just wearing the gauntlet was a problem for him, then he would drop it immediately upon arriving. So he clearly can casually wear it just fine. It's not actively damaging like the snap was, and he likely did this often, if not all the time, in preparation for if he gets attacked. Or just because he wants to. He's even wearing the charred remains of the empty gauntlet after destroying the stones. When Tony and Nebula get found, Tony had said,
Today's day 21? 22.
Then, when they get him back to Earth, Rocket says that a power surge, which we later learn was Thanos destroying the stones,
Okay.
happened
2 days ago.
So Thanos was alone with the stones for 20 days, and did not achieve this previously unattainable level of consciousness Ultron achieved after a short time with the stones, and an even shorter time alone with them, because the writers made it up for this episode. While narrating, the Watcher says,
He became aware of another. He became aware of the...
trailing off because he is surprised by Ultron turning around and then seeing him.
I see you.
which, after surprising him, makes him say that despite having seen everything, this is new to him. This raises a lot of questions about the nature of the Watcher. He was narrating this, trailing off before he was about to say that Ultron became aware of the Watcher. But if that's a surprise to him, then how was he in the middle of saying it? His narration doesn't make sense considering he didn't know this would happen. Also, he saw this happen last episode.
Wait, what? Oh dear. Perhaps I spoke too soon.
So the order of events is all out of whack. This universe's events must have already happened before last episode in order for Infinity Ultron to show up there.
So there's a lot of things writers forgot, but really their purpose is just pretty much just writing anything. Not reading anything. Just like make it up and doesn't make sense, but actually they're not,
but he says
it's just like,
he
want to kill everyone, but even though he's actually not, he wants to change humanity, that's it.
I actually really like visually, where they show up, tiny figures in the doorway, as more and more lights reveal just how many files there are to look through, not just forwards, but to the sides as well. Clint asks,
"So, where do we start?"
And Natasha answers,
Just pick a box.
which is insane. There's no way this place has zero organization with this many files. Surely there is a more systematic way to find what they're looking for. And even if it was completely random, they should still start at the start, because otherwise they might skip what they're looking for, or check the same boxes multiple times. Natasha finds a shield made for the Red Guardian, then asks,
Is this my color?
but Clint is not amused, and says,
"Come on. Don't try to make this fun, Nat."
which is actually really in line with his character. In Endgame, when things seemed hopeless, he just ended up becoming pessimistic.
Don't give me hope.
So it makes sense that he would end up like that here, and says,
My will to live meter is flatlining, okay?
the Watcher is now here, watching over and narrating over this universe. Not a great way to hide from Ultron, considering...
I'll be right back.